Hey, Bridget.
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
Good. You didn't really sound like you're okay.
I'm just feeling I'm all right. I just got a lot going on. But I'm good. I am very, very good. I actually am. It's
Yeah.
just it's Friday and I'm tired.
Sounds like you're spiritually tired as well as physically tired.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm gonna spend a weekend and do some prayer and get into my book and I think my oil is a little dry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think every time I get to that point, I do. It's kind of like God is saying, "Hey, you're getting too far out there on your own. You need to reel it back in and get close so I can tell you what the next step is." It's kind of what I feel like he's telling me when I feel like you're feeling.
Well, you know what it is, Bridget? I've been hearing there's this study that I've been needing to do, a biblical study that I've been putting off for a very long, and it's like ringing loudly to study this particular study. And it's an important study, and I've been not wanting to dedicate the time to do it because I know how intense the study is,
Mhm.
right? And it's like gotten to the point that it's so loud, it's interfering with other things that I need to do.
That's because that's the thing you need to do.
Yeah, it's not like a lot of time. We're talking about like 30 minutes a day.
When God leads you to doing something, it's because it's like, I imagine like walking with God, kind of like I'm walking with a blindfold on, and it's like he's got my hand, and he's leading me, but I'm like I'm like scooting my feet and taking little baby steps because I don't really know where it's going. And so I'm afraid, like I don't know. I can't see anything. I'm just like I'm leading you and I have faith you're not going to let me like trip over something or whatever. But I feel like in those moments, that's what's happening. But it's like you can't get to the next step he wants you to get to until you do the thing he wants you to do.
You
So
know,
you
and
never
I'm
know, it might open up all kinds of new doors. He might be able to speak to you in something that you learn. Who knows?
no, I'm sure it's all. I mean, there's never anything negative when we're talking about something spiritual, right?
Yeah.
Nothing at the other end of that door, even though we don't understand it. For me, I think is just making the like I have to sacrifice something that I don't want to sacrifice doing in order to make the time to do this. And I know it's time for me to sacrifice that thing. I'm just fighting it tooth and nail. And I think I'm just at the point I'm so worn down that it's just not worth it for me to keep fighting it.
Yeah, because you just need to do it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's like, don't fight it. Just recognize it for what it is and then just do it.
But man, let me tell you, when you like what it is that you have to give up. When it's something that's not hurting anybody, it's your thing and you have to give it up. That's what's hard,
Yeah.
is like the greater good, right? Is growing up and doing what we got to do because like you said, when God calls you,
It's also like it's like an opportunity to grow because here's a perfect example. It's so ironic that you're talking about this, which I really don't believe anything is like coincidental. But I've really been wrestling with something like ever since the Charlie Kirk assassination, I've been trying to think like how can I as a Christian with a voice, how can I use my voice to give God the glory because everything that I have in my life, I give him the credit. And people say, "Oh yeah, Bridget, but you work really hard," and that's all cool. But I was a hard worker before all of this happened, so I was still the same person, and I was still, trying to make good decisions and all of that. But as soon as I started listening to and letting God lead me, that's when everything changed for me. And so I was really struggling since then, like how, what do I want to do? And I just felt God telling me like community, right? So it's like I am trying to figure out how do I bring Jesus to my community, right? So I've been tossing that around. Then I just felt like he was telling me, like, do like a prayer circle or something at the high level summit. So I was like, I don't want to do that because I don't really like to pray in front of people. I'm just really weird about that. But I felt like God kept telling me, like, you need to do this. Just do it. Just tell people you're going to meet them there and then just see who shows up. Just do it. And so the first person that I asked if she wanted to do this with me, the question she had was, have you decided who's going to lead the prayer? And I was like, I said, no, I haven't. But you know what? I'm prepared to do it. And if he wants me to do it, that's what I'm doing. So we'll see how it all goes. But as I posted that on Facebook, everybody was commenting, like, oh, I want to go and I'll be there and I want to join you guys. And so I just think, like, being in an atrium full of high level users all gathering together to pray before breakfast, like, I just can't even stand how amazing that is. And I just feel like that's one of those opportunities where we can say yes or we can say no to where God is leading us. And even if you don't understand or you don't see the fourth step in the staircase, doesn't mean you can't take the first step in faith and do what he's calling you to do.
I agree.
Yeah. So you got this. You better take that course, Tony.
Yeah, I am.
You have no idea what's waiting for you on the other side.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome everyone. It is past 2 o'clock. So thank you all for joining me for our group coaching session. We were just talking about all of our journeys and the things we feel led to do, and, how sometimes that can be a struggle, especially if you are called to step outside your comfort zone. That's always going to be something that we wrestle with, but it's always beneficial to do it. Just do it. So today, what I wanted to talk with you guys about is how to create an all-in-one chat widget. And I don't want to just show you how to create the chat widget, but I want to show you what you can do with the chat widget, how you can add it to blogs and the store, and how you can add it to one page, how you can add it to the client portal, how you can add it to the entire website. These are all things that we need to know because the chat widget is basically like a form that just kind of hovers around in the corner of your website. So we don't want to, I think a lot of times people get super confused about the automations for a chat widget, which we're going to talk about today as well. But just think of it like a form, right? When they fill out the form, something needs to happen. And so that's where the automations come in. Okay. Let me go ahead and let Andrew in here. All right. So I'm going to share my screen here and make sure. Give me just 1 second. I want to make sure I can see all of you guys. Okay. Oops. All right. Can you guys see my screen? I just
Yes,
I just hid my meeting controls and now I don't know how to find them again.
yes, we see the 4-part options you have. Looks like you're inside of chat widget.
All right, cool. I don't know how to get back to my, sorry guys, I don't know how. I just hid all of my settings and now I don't know how to get them back. All right, we're just gonna do this and then we'll see how it goes. All right. Oh, here we go. Oh, weird. All right. Okay, I just figured out something new. That was interesting. All right, you guys. So let's get into this. All right. So inside of your accounts in the Sites tab, you can see Chat Widget here, and we have a new option here. It's fairly new. But this chat widget basically puts everything into one chat widget. So before we started out with HighLevel several years ago with the SMS and email chat widget, and this is exactly like it says. It is just for text messaging and emails. Okay. The other type of chat widget is the two-way conversation. So this is exactly what it says. It's the live chat. So there's not going to be, basically you need to either be standing in your conversations tab when you're using this or using the AI feature to have AI have the conversation with your lead. And then also we have the WhatsApp chat. So if you guys didn't know, HighLevel does have WhatsApp as an add-on if you are, speaking with clients internationally. A lot of them use WhatsApp. But the cool thing is you can actually create an all-in-one chat. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that. And you'll see here the different options. Now, I don't have WhatsApp in this account, or I'm sorry, I can't talk. If I had WhatsApp in this account, it would be an option to add here. Okay. Now, when you add that there, it actually brings up different buttons like this. So in this case, I have the SMS and email configured, and that's why this option shows up. And then we also have the live chat. If I had WhatsApp and I could select it here, we would also have a WhatsApp button. So this allows your website leads to choose how they want to contact you. Okay, which is really good, especially if your live chat is still in beta, it's still being trained. You can give them the option to chat with the AI or go ahead and contact you directly, and of course, build out those automations. Now, just like any other live chat here, we have, or chat widget, we have the customizations here so that we can brand it. We can add our own custom message here. We have some widget customization so we can make this avatar whatever we want to. We can replace that image. We can change the location that it appears on the website. The dimensions, we can choose the auto, or we can create custom dimensions. We also have the chat widget window here. So this is where you want to choose your title and the intro message. And you can add a contact form here, but if you're using like AI, you don't want to use the contact form. What you'd want to do at that point is just build into, I'm getting ahead of myself, but build into the prompt to collect the information. Now, this is a fairly new feature here. When you're creating your contact form, you actually can add any custom fields here. We used to not be able to do that. We used to only be able to collect name, phone, and email. And of course, you can select or unselect those options there. If you have like a message box, you can also put that there. Pre-filled in message text, you can add here, the send button. You can also redirect your leads when they submit the chat widget, the contact form. You can actually direct them to another link if you want to do that. You have here's where I was talking about enabling the contact form. It's really, and it even tells you here, it doesn't really recommend that you use this for the live chat widget, but you have a delayed timeout. You can adjust the timeout user inactivity message. You have your live chat window closed. You can change what it says there. You can actually enable office hours here. And you have some additional options here for your agency branding. And if you do have a business or your client has a business that needs to have the HIPAA compliance, you can have this checkbox here. Okay. We also have the messaging here for the live chat acknowledgement. So you can really customize it and make it say whatever it is you want to. You could change the color of the placeholder. You also have the option to add your own customer support, contact phone or email, the acknowledgement message, and the greeting and all of that. You can even change the language here to any of these languages so that it responds or it's written in that specific language. Now, once you create this, you want to embed this into your website. Okay. Now, if you're using WordPress, you can just click here and get the code. Or if you're using any website outside of HighLevel, you can click here to get the code. Okay. So this doesn't have to be a HighLevel website that you're embedding this on. And this is actually really cool because this is a great upsell or a great offer for businesses that already have a website, but they don't have a chat widget, and they likely do not have a CRM that chat widget goes to and all the automations that you can build out. So if you are just really good with automations, but you're not a web designer, find clients that have a website already and they need a chat widget, and then you can build out the most advanced, beautiful automations that will definitely increase the leads for that customer just by adding a chat widget on the website. Now, how do you add that chat widget to these websites here? All you need to do for funnels or websites, you can go to the setting and you can choose the chat widget that you have created for this specific website if you want this to show on every single page. And this is the same for funnels or websites, okay? Same exact process. Now, you also can add this to a blog. It's a little bit different though. If we go into the blog and you go into the settings, so we'll go here to the blog settings and you go to advanced settings, you'll see here is where you want to choose the chat widget for your blog. Now here, you can actually add this into a store as well. So all you need to do is go into your store. You can go to the settings, and again, you can choose the chat widget there. You also, inside the client portal, you go to memberships, client portal settings, you'll see this option here where you can choose whatever chat widget you want inside of your community. Okay. Now, once you add that, wait, before I do that, I did want to show you. Let's talk about how you can actually add this to an individual page. I wanted to make sure to show you guys that. So in this store, let's go back to this funnel and let me choose this particular funnel here. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this off, or I'm going to choose no chat widget on this funnel. And I want to just add a specific chat widget on one single page. So let's say that on the home page, I do want the chat widget, but on the thank you page, I do not. So if that's the case, you want to make sure that your main settings are turned off. You do not have a chat widget there. Then we're going to go to the thank you page. Let's go ahead and open up the editor. I don't know why I can't talk today. We're going to open up the editor and we're going to grab we're going to go to the settings here as soon as this loads. We're going to go up here to tracking codes. We're going to go to the footer and we're going to paste that code into the footer here. All right. I'm sorry, I was going to add that on the, thank you page. So let's do that again. So we're going to go to footer, paste this here, and let's go ahead and save. And I do have a domain connected here, so let's publish as well. And then let's open this up. So you'll see there we have our chat widget. Now let's go to the thank you page, or I'm sorry, the main page here. Go to the home page and let's open this up. And then you'll see here on the home page, we do not have a chat widget. Okay. So that's how you can create the chat widget, embed them in all the different pages or one individual page. Now, what's really cool about this is you can have multiple different chat widgets like I do here. So I have my live chat widget. That's on the home page of my main website, or any lead gen funnels that I create. I have a SMS email chat widget for my thank you pages because I want people to contact me directly once they've opted in. If they have questions, I want them to reach a real person. I do have automations built out in that, but I feel like that's a better customer service tactic. And then also the same for the community. But even though these are both SMS email chat widgets, I have different chat widgets because I want to know, did this person contact me on the thank you page or did they contact me inside of my community? Okay, so those are just some tips on segmenting your leads. And also you can build out these individual automations based on how they contacted you. Now, inside of the automations, I just want to show you a couple examples here, and I'm just going to open up this community chat widget. So this is the automation that I have when someone contacts me inside the community. So you'll see we start out with the trigger is going to be reply channel. Okay. No matter how people contact you, and you'll see we have all of these different options. They can call you. They can message you in the chat widget, like I've chosen here, an email, Facebook Messenger, Google Business Messenger, Instagram, your live chat, SMS, or WhatsApp. This workflow trigger is going to be for any of those options. Okay, so it doesn't matter if they send you a text message and you want to build this automation to respond to a text message, you're going to choose text message or SMS. If you want this built out for WhatsApp, you're going to choose WhatsApp. Okay. So you just want to make sure that your automations are starting with the appropriate trigger. Now we're choosing the reply channel, which is the chat widget, and the specific chat widget, because if you have multiple, you want to make sure that you're segmenting those out. So this workflow is only going to trigger when someone replies from this chat widget in the community. Okay. Now I have this if-else conditional logic step because I want to know, are they a member? And I mean a paid member of my program, right? So I'm saying yes, that means that their plan status, I have a custom field that says active or canceled or deleted. So if their plan is active, they're going to go down they're going to receive this response. If it's not active, they're going to receive the other response here. Okay. So this response just basically says, hey, thanks for reaching out. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And kind of the same thing here. It's just a little bit different because, one person is a free community member and the other person is a member of our program. All right. So that is one example of the automations there. Let's back out of here. And I'm going to show you a more simple automation. So let's go chat widget again. And this one is just the SMS. So again, we're just saying customer replied, chat widget. The chat widget is, and then we're choosing the specific chat widget. And then in this scenario, all I'm doing is just texting them back. Because remember, for this to work, they have to have messaged me in the chat widget. So my response is, hey there, just wanted to let you know I received your message. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And then I also say, you can save my number and reach out anytime because I want to let them know, like, you can definitely text me. Now, if I have a workflow, like I said, where I want them to be, I want that automated message to go out when they text, that's what I was telling you. You're going to choose the customer replied. So let's do reply. And then you would just choose reply channel and SMS. So that would be the trigger. If someone texts you, what do you want to happen at that point? Okay. Now I do, before I open this up and stop sharing my screen, I do want to do the drawing that we, from last week's replay, we talked about my in-person event strategy. And I told you guys, if you go to that video and you comment the word event, that you'll be entered into today's drawing. So I've already gathered that here. So YouTube video. We also have this keyword event. And I pulled in all of the comments before we started here because 2 p.m. is the deadline. So I wanted to open this up and let's go ahead and do our drawing for a free private consultation. All right. And it is Julian Sparks. So I will, if you are watching the replay here, feel free to reach out to me in the community, but I will also let you know in the comments there. All right, I'm going to stop sharing and let Timmy in. You guys feel free to raise your hand if you have a question or open up about, whatever comments that you may have. And it doesn't have to be a question about this. It can be about whatever you want to talk about. Tony?
Hey, I want to see, how we were talking about Canva this week?
Yeah.
All right, I have a question for you. I
Mhm.
have been making some headshots of myself
Mhm.
and I want to turn them into, I don't know what size to use in Canva to turn them into like pictures, or should I do like the 200 by 200?
What are you going to be putting the picture on?
I don't know. Right now, I'm just creating them and
Mhm.
I'm storing them in a file, but I want to have them. I want to have different. I got started on it and I was using an AI tool and I figured I'd see how I could do headshots, because I'm not going to go out and buy suits and stuff. So
Well, it's always better if you don't know what you're using them for when you're creating them, it's always better to make them a really large size because you can always cut them down and crop them. For when I do like profile pictures or website pictures or like if I'm adding images to like my store or something like that, like to use 500 by 500 because it's a square and it's not that large. But you would probably want to use something bigger than that, at least like 1080 by 1080.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do like square because it usually, when you create the image and it is square, it pretty much looks good on every platform.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. It definitely does help to have like your headshots and profile pics like in Canva in a folder. And that way you have them accessible. You can just use them without having to like go to your folder and upload because you're going to be using them all the time. And that's going to be the place that you're using them. So it's so nice to just have a collection of those. And especially like if you're doing YouTube thumbnails, whether it's your avatar you want to use or your own profile picture, just having those preset. I mean, as silly as it sounds, what all YouTubers do is they at one time they do all of these shots of like making funny faces, like like all the thumbnail images or like pointing to things, they do all of that basically in one sitting, and then they create a folder and then they can use those for all their different thumbnails.
And it's so easy to do now with AI is
Yeah.
just incredible. I mean, you could put yourself anywhere doing. I mean, it's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's really neat. I love it.
Yeah, I think the thing with AI is it just like anything else. It's like knowing when to use it is almost more important than the how to use it, because it's like sometimes we overwhelm ourselves with all the things that are possible, kind of like HighLevel. Just because we can do everything doesn't mean that we should do everything. So I think that's really the challenge. Not getting overwhelmed by all that you can do, but just thinking about what do I need to do, and then how can I utilize these tools and processes to help me do that most efficiently.
No, I agree. I mean, I don't see anybody's hands up. So
Yeah.
it kind of takes you into that issue. If you are going to do headshots of yourself, how much of yourself are you going to change for those headshots? Like, how much of it is not going to be really, at what point is it totally doesn't look like anything like you and you're presenting somebody else and saying it's you? Like, there's people out there that are just going to go crazy with this thing.
I think it's so valid. I think that when I put AI pictures up, I like to just look so obviously not me that it's not like a question. Like I'm not trying to, make myself look like a different person. And so if I don't want to do that, I might as well just take pictures of myself. Or the flip side is just make it look so obvious. Like if you look at my thumbnails, that's not me. That's my
Yeah,
Zoom
but you
avatar.
could tell, but you can tell it's you, is what I'm saying. At some point, people are gonna be like, all right, is at some point it's like somebody's gonna like totally not look like who they're claiming that person in that picture. Like you're gonna have crazy people. Like you're gonna have them. They're gonna give you this business card and they're gonna look like somebody like totally different what they were like what you're seeing.
Mhm.
I mean, people are delusional.
Yeah, and I don't understand what it's so obvious when it's like especially if you're meeting someone in person, it's so obvious it's not you if you're I mean, I guess it just depends on the AI, but I definitely think there's a balance. It's like, do you want to have a character that you use in your business that is you, or do you want to use you? And then you should just be consistent with that. The character should definitely not look like you're trying to AI yourself.
Well, right now that's where the technology is, right? It's trying to
Yeah.
get it, it's trying the technology is trying to get to the point to make it look as much like you
Uh-huh.
as possible. It's really not trying to go the other way. It's
Mhm.
trying to go the direction to where when you put your image out there, you want to generate yourself in a different light, like wearing
Mhm.
a different suit, but you want it to look as much like you as possible.
Mhm.
That's what you should be trying to do, right? That's where the
Yes,
technology's headed.
I totally agree with you. Yeah, use it. And honestly, I love it. I love AI because you can take a picture of yourself and then you can create really cool images that look like professional headshots. But that's really the trick. And I think that's kind of the gray area that everybody's playing around with to see which one is, how it's going to work for them. But I love using AI to replicate what you would actually like if I hired a professional photographer and we did a photo shoot and I got the photos from that, that's the result that we should really be using AI for to get something that looks like that, as opposed to something that kind of looks like us, but it looks so obvious you used AI, but maybe used AI in a way that you don't realize it looks nothing like you. That's the weird area for sure. But your avatar, Tony, looks just like you. Andrew, you have a question?
Yeah, the question I was asking, probably missed it. Where could I get avatars so I download them to be used, stored, and used? What have you used to do that?
I actually did a training on this. What I did was I basically just screenshot my avatar on Zoom and then I used AI to
Use
make like
expressions and so.
I'm sorry?
You used AI to change the expressions and
Yep.
okay. So screenshot this one here of me
Mhm.
if that's the one I want to use, and then okay, I'll do it. Thanks.
Yeah, just make sure when you do that, the challenge that people have when they're creating like an AI character like this, okay? A lot of the like movie creators, they have this problem where you have a character and it needs to change expressions without changing how it actually looks. And so that's really the challenge and the limitations of a lot of AI tools. Because if I had my Zoom character, and let's say that I had like a video that I wanted to create, and it had 5 different scenes, that character needs to look like the same character throughout all different scenes. But if you're creating them separately, then it's essentially like 5 different videos. And so the AI has a challenge in creating them to look like the same character. And so that's a that they're getting better and better about doing that. There's a lot of really impressive tools I've seen that are definitely working on that. But that's the same thing that you want to keep in mind when you're creating your avatars. Take that image, give it to AI, and say, I want you to use this image and create like an excited avatar, surprise, whatever. You can ask AI what the emotions for it to create. But once you create those different variations, then you could just upload those to Canva and then use them and whatever you want to use them. But creating them all at once, that's really the trick.
Thank you.
Tony?
On that same note, have you heard of Sora 2?
No.
Oh my goodness, Bridget. This is going to change marketing forever because it allows you to put you just got to look it up, man. I'm not even going to spoil it for you. Sora 2, because you're going to be able to put your voice in anybody's face.
Mm.
So you can take a celebrity and that celebrity can market your product. OpenAI has opened a can that, listen, I think now this whole them generating money is not for them to speed up the technology, but it's just for the lawsuits they're going to get because they just declared war on anything that's infringing on any type of copyright on anything. They created an ad where they had SpongeBob promoting it. Like every brand was promoting this thing that they're putting out. They just declared war on like everybody.
When I was at the summit last year, somebody asked me, Bridget, when are you going to embrace your celebrity? And I was like, what? That's like such a weird thing. But the reason that he was asking me that is because he was saying that he saw in the future, you know, how companies will contact you. If you have a brand, companies will contact you and they'll say, hey, I'd love for you to promote our product and whatever. Imagine instead of saying, yes, I'll promote your product, and then I create a video and then, or whatever it is that I'm doing to promote that product. Imagine instead of doing that, I just give them permission to use my likeness. So my voice, my face, and all of that. And then they create the video. That's what he
Well,
was saying that he felt like we were going to.
I think we're there because I think it was like yesterday I saw on the news that there's a company that created an avatar and they're looking for agencies to hire the avatar. And I guess with the avatar is an actress. They're going directly after Hollywood. So like Hollywood is all up in arms because how they're actually considering using these avatars instead of the actors for the roles. Like they couldn't believe how well the this company created this acting avatar.
It's definitely, I just watched a whole documentary about a famous singer, and it was so obvious it was AI, but it was still good enough that I still watched the whole hour documentary. And it was about a famous person, and the character looked just like the famous person. And I just was like so blown away because, most of us were like, oh, this is AI, turn it off. But it was so good that it really blew my mind. It was still like I got the story. It was a little bit like you could tell, sometimes the hands moving, you could see the
Right.
fingers blending together. But for the most part, it was like 90% on point. And I just thought, oh my gosh, this is like, if you can create something like this just in your home on your computer, who needs the multi-million-dollar production studio, all of those expenses? I can see how like actors and actresses are afraid to lose their jobs.
Bridget, a quick thing to add. It's an aside, but we're speaking about where OpenAI and AI is going. 2 days ago or yesterday, I think it's the Brew or one of those I subscribe to that I get all my tech stuff one place. But they said that OpenAI is going after really Salesforce and HubSpot because they're going into a CRM, becoming a CRM in some ways with automations and stuff, meaning OpenAI is doing that. They're already doing it inside the company. They're not using HubSpot and Salesforce. They're using their own CRM that they have created.
The thing is, like that Sora 2, it's its own platform. It's not like an app that you use to make videos. Well, it is, but at the same time, it's gonna be like its own Facebook and its own TikTok
Yes.
right inside of the platform. So if you're a marketer and you want to make a video promoting your platform, not only can you create the commercial right on Sora 2, but if it's also going to go after Facebook, I mean, like I said, they literally declared war on everything out there. Every company, every market, there's going to be such a radical shift on how marketing is going to be done because people take the path of less resistance. And this AI thing, there's no pushback.
I definitely can see the value, like OpenAI creating they're trying to dominate the market and all of that. But the downside of that, I immediately thought of when Andrew said that, is I don't like OpenAI, honestly. I use Manus most of the time. I've been dabbling around with other things, but I feel like OpenAI, it takes me twice the time to get the result I want than some of the others, or like ChatGPT. So I love the idea of having something like HighLevel that allows us to use any of the, like OpenAI or Manus. I want to use any of those AI options instead of just being like saddled with one. Like I don't want to just have like an OpenAI CRM and then I can only use OpenAI.
Not only that, they are becoming better and better when you're exclusively using them. So that's another thing. Somehow your IP gets pulled, gets sampled is the word. Yes. So yeah.
Yeah, we're all training the AI. Unless you have like a ChatGPT team account and then they have a thing that says that they won't use. It's supposed to be like more secure if you're using it for clients and their information. It doesn't use the data to train. But still,
I
I
don't
want
believe that.
options.
I totally agree with you, Bridget, 100%. Because you put all your marketing eggs in one basket. You're just destined for failure if you do that.
Yeah.
You're not
Plus,
even a business. You're working for somebody else when you do that. And you're
yeah,
not even your own business, really.
yeah. Plus, you're so like, what does OpenAI know about a CRM and customer relation management? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do they know about funnel building and all of that? Now, I get it. They can have like AI do a lot of things, but we know because we have AI funnel builders that we're using right now. We know that none of them are perfect. So by monopolizing this whole entire like market that they're trying to do, that just limits you. I love the idea. I know HighLevel is going to have the ability for us to integrate via API any of these AI models that we want to use. And I love that idea for many reasons because we can control our costs by using our own API. We also can control the outcome because if Tony likes to use Gemini and I like to use Manus and Andrew likes to use ChatGPT, we should be able to use that in our business with all of these
You
tools.
know, I got a recording where I was actually talking to the owner of HighLevel.
Yeah.
And we had that discussion, he and I, about API keys, and they were totally against it. And I told them why. I was like, I want to control my pricing, man. And he was like, okay, that makes sense. They're really cool because I thought he was gonna like just totally shut it. Like he did shut it down in the moment. He totally shut it down, but he was cool about the way he shut it down.
He's experienced at shutting down ideas.
Yeah, but now they're here. They had to do it, and
Yeah.
it was inevitable that they were gonna have to do that. I mean,
Yeah.
the way the technology was going,
Mhm.
you know, there's just too many options.
What I love about HighLevel is that they always take community suggestions first. Like if you notice, if you go to ideas.gohighlevel.com, that's the ideas board, that's the roadmap. And if you guys have any suggestions for new features or something that is missing that you want to have, if you put it in there, the developers actually create their plan from what feature has the most upvotes in the ideas board. So that's what I love about HighLevel. And for example, when HighLevel came out with Lead Connector, which was a godsend, because if you're HighLevel pre-lead connector, you understand what a hassle it is to connect your own Twilio account and make sure everything's compliant and deal with your own A2P and all of this stuff that was happening. The objection that people had, though, was that the cost. We wanted to be able to control the cost. So what HighLevel did was they negotiated a better deal. So not only do they still make money, but they negotiated such a great deal that we can get credits for like SMS and things like that at a cheaper price than if we went directly through Twilio. So it's like HighLevel is so great about like being the answer to our problems when we come to them and say, hey, we need this feature. But they're also really great in business to say, okay, they want this feature. We need to be able to make money. I mean, we're a business. So how can we give them this feature and make money and make everybody happy? HighLevel is so great about doing that.
They really are.
Yeah, for sure. Timmy says, is there a way to add a custom field to an order form? There is a way, but not the organic, like the standard order form that you pull in. Instead, what you want to do is go into the regular forms like this. You want to go to this regular form, and then you want to just add like sell a product and then add that product there. And then you can add your own custom fields. And I heard on the town hall, and I may have misheard, but I thought what they were trying to do is get rid of order forms and make everything forms, basically. So, like, your standard order form would be like in the forms area, just like this, as opposed to bringing that form element into the funnel builder. So, that's what I would say if you want to do that, because you have so many more customizations here using the form.
Sorry,
Than,
Bridget. Does this allow recurring payments though when you do it like that?
yeah,
Recurring payments.
yeah. Let's add a product here. Like here's a plan that I have. You can choose the main product, and this product is a recurring product. So I can click here to add product, and then you see that's my subscription.
Good, good.
Yeah.
As you mentioned about the board, somehow, I always say, from my former job, every time it comes to tech, I break it or I found somehow a way that it can't do what it should do. Recently, another company, white label suites. I found the problem. I found the problem, and they wrote to me, said, thanks for pointing it out, and they were fixing it. It was doing something it wasn't supposed to in regards to billing, and I was saying, why is this? And we went through it, and it did something came up, and they had to fix it. It was charging me for using the credits when it wasn't supposed to.
Oh.
For some features, like if you search for something and didn't bring it back up, it shouldn't charge, but it was. So we did a test, and it showed that it did. I don't know how I noticed it, by the way, but I just noticed. So yeah, I I tend to get the hard things. I don't know why. It falls on me, and then we have to get it fixed.
Well, I think that's really just I think we all experience that, really. And in a software company's defense, all of them, there's a like HighLevel, for example, they have a beta version, then they send it to labs. There's like a quality control phase, and then it gets delivered, like it's released to like everyone to be able to use in the sub accounts or agency or whatever. And I think that's just really part of the process. And you guys know too, it's like when like if you have to go into your system and make an update, inevitably something will break. you know you push like a new update to your snapshots, or you like change a field or something like that, and you didn't realize, like, or it just causes something else to happen, like a domino effect. I think really that's just the nature of software, because I experience that too all the time, Andrew, where it's
You're
like,
so
oh,
right.
I broke something again.
You know what happened to me with WhatsApp?
But
Still hasn't been fixed. I changed the number because I wanted to put in a different sub account, and it got stuck in the last one. So the subscription was discontinued, but the number got stuck with the last. I couldn't move it. They couldn't move it. I had to go to the top, several layers and tiers of people until they got to uncouple it. So yeah, these things happen. And apparently that it never happened before to anyone. So I was the guinea pig, which was frustrating, really. 'Cause I'm saying I'm doing something wrong because this is simple. Discontinue, remove. It
Mhm.
should work like that, but there was something.
Yeah, that's just tech for you, honestly. I was talking to Martina a couple weeks ago. She was having all kinds, and yeah, I also feel like when it rains, it pours, with the tech things. But it's like, as business owners, really what we're doing is we're becoming professional problem solvers, and it never ends. And this is also why oftentimes we feel like imposters, because it's like, why is anybody even listening to me? Because I experience new problems every single day that I don't know how to solve, that I've never experienced before. And that's true today as it was day one when I decided to create my first form. That it's the same thing every single day. There's problems that I've never experienced before that I don't know how to solve, and I have to figure out how to solve them. But there's so much value and education and experience that comes with all of that. And, I heard someone say, like, thank God no one handed me, like a multi-million-dollar business on day one, because it would have crashed. But the reason that people can build those big businesses is because they're all along the way solving problems. And then if you do build a multi-million-dollar business, how hard is it going to be to go build another multi-million-dollar business, because you are a professional problem solver? That's the skill that we develop more than any other skill, is solving problems. Tony?
Hey, Bridget. Actually, I have a workflow issue. I'm gonna
Oh,
see if I share my
sure.
screen. I was running tests on this workflow, and I have this internal notification that for some reason it didn't. Oh, why is it doing this? It didn't fire off. I have it set to notify everybody, all users. Right now, everything else fired off. The client, like I acted as a client, that email got to me, the reminder got to me. The only thing that didn't fire was the reminder to, I guess, I guess the people I have inside of the, like myself and everybody else that's a user.
Hmm.
I don't know why. I don't know why that wouldn't fire off.
Choose a specific user instead of all users. And do you have a step? I don't think it's for assigned you. Go try to just choose a specific user instead of all users right there. Because you have assigned user, particular user, and a custom email. So choose a specific user and then see if that works.
Okay. All right, I'll
Do
try
that
that.
test.
Oh, you want me to do it right now?
I mean, you can. Probably
Okay.
not while you're screen sharing, just
Yeah,
because,
I figure I'll test that out.
yeah. It
Okay.
just, this will go on YouTube, so I don't want you to share any, like,
Right.
contact info or whatever.
So I actually thought maybe it was a glitch or something. Does it sound like it could be a glitch?
It could be because it should go out to all users. And it's a separate trigger than assigned user, because that's what I was thinking. Like, if you don't have a step where you're assigning that contact to a user, are you the user? Are you the same user that it's supposed to be sending to? Are you,
I had two different emails, but it should be going to 3 other people and nobody got it.
okay. So you can select. So if for some crazy reason that all user option isn't working, you can select all of the users where you just selected yourself.
Uh-huh.
But I would say test that first, and make sure that when you are testing that you are using an incognito window. Make sure that you're using a separate email, like a Gmail, especially if you're using, like, if I use info@myvisionagency.com, that's where my emails are being sent from. So I don't ever test with anything myvisionagency.com. I always use like a Gmail because I want to make sure that it's not associating that contact with me, since we're technically using that same domain.
The way I set it up, I have a list of test emails, with like, just a list of different emails that are just my test emails. And what I did is for this particular account, I have a different email from the test email, and
Mhm.
it's different email from my personal business email. It's just one that's random that I connected. That's the one I'm using to see if I actually get a reminder as a user.
Mhm.
And I also check the test email to see if they're getting their, as the customer, right? The test email, I'm seeing that they're getting the notifications that they're supposed to be getting. And so far, like I said, everything worked out right, except for the notification email. But I'll test that. I'll try that out. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm curious. When we're testing stuff, it's just a matter of like, try it out, see what happens, backtrack.
I was
Or-
wondering if maybe I did something wrong connecting the emails, but they're all in there inside of like who are the users and stuff. They're in there. So we'll see.
So did you create users? Like, how did you create the users?
I'll show you the users. I'll show you where they're at. All right.
Just make sure you're not sharing contact info though.
I'm gonna try to get in there before I.
Because YouTube, I'm gonna upload this video and it's gonna
Well,
say
it's gonna have their emails.
yeah, don't
Yeah,
share that.
yeah. But when I go into like my staff,
Yeah,
right, I
that's
have
where
the
you create
users
it.
in there. I created the users and the short links, the custom links to them. But I actually put the actual emails, and they all had their individual e-calendar,
Mhm.
but the calendar that's connected to the appointment calendar, I wonder if I have to have all of those users inside of that calendar.
Oh, for the workflow that you just showed, that was for calendar notifications?
Right. I have a calendar, like schedule an appointment calendar.
Yeah, that could definitely be the issue.
Okay. So maybe I missed where I need to plug that in. I'm gonna share my screen. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not gonna, right? Can you see it? All right. Where would I plug? Make sure that all 3 of them are connected to this calendar. Maybe a notification.
So when you say connected to the calendar, what is it that you want to happen that they
All I
get?
all I want is when someone schedules an appointment on this calendar,
Mhm.
that the users get notified that someone scheduled the appointment.
Okay.
And in the workflow, that's what I had in that workflow. Now, like I said, the visitor gets all of their messages, but the users are not getting notified that someone scheduled the appointment. And I was wondering if maybe it was that they weren't connected. Somehow I didn't connect them right to this calendar.
So unless you want like a round robin where they're going to be like booking and you want to notify, like basically you want to rotate the appointments. There is no like connecting the user to the calendar, but because are they going to, do you want them to be notified or do you want them to take the appointment?
Whoever gets notified, one of them is going to have to take the appointment, or one of them is going to need to call. One of them is going to need to call whoever made the appointment back, or whatever procedure they want to do after that. Right now, I'm just trying to get over the hump of why they're not why they're not receiving a notification that someone booked.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be user unless. So what I would do, Tony, because I see Andrea and Martina have their hand up. What I would do, Tony, is go into the automations, test that one to make sure that you're getting notified. And then I would I would make sure to just add them so that like with the internal team notification so that they are being notified with the information about the appointment. But I guess then, being a process person, I wonder like are they working in the same office? How are they going to communicate with each other to know like who actually called? Because if Bob thinks that Jenny called and Jenny thinks that Sam called, then no one's calling and
No, they have a designated person that is going to be. They already decided who's going to be the designated person that's going to be answering back. I just did this as a formality so they all know what's going on.
Okay. So yeah, that's what I would do then. Just create an internal notification and just make sure to pass that info about the appointment to all of those people. But you just need to test and see if user isn't working, you can always use that custom email option.
Okay. All right, I'll let you know if I have more trouble with it. But thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Martina?
So I just want to say, Bridget, I finally ended up having this situation where YouTube took one of my videos down.
Huh?
And it told me because of obviously terms and policies that I was violating something. And of course, it had to do with me explaining CRMs and how to organize your contacts. And it flagged a specific part of the video where I discuss, if you're a brand new account and you do not yet have, contacts in your CRM, if you happen to have them in your prior Gmail, Yahoo, or whatever account, how you can go through the export feature and import them, and then to make contact with them, getting their permission to be on a list or whatever. I guess it did not like the fact that I said you can go export from, these various sources and pull that information into your CRM, because that's the part that it had the flag sitting on. And of course, it says there could possibly be other areas that you XYZ. And needless to say, I'm on the screen and I'm showing a blank account. And I literally go through the process of adding my own information, like my little dummy account or whatever. And I said, this is a test account, or this is, my personal, account that I'm just showcasing how simple it is to add a contact. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So I just went in and I did the whole little thank you for showing us how to do that small little edit where I just muted the part where I said where you could get the additional context from just to get your account started so that you could have something to test and play around with. But I was like, I'm so glad that you had already showed us that, because here I am at that situation. And of course, I don't want my series disrupted. Not that anybody's going to watch this in an exact order that I have it anyway, but it was just good to see that you had already given us a resolution for how to fix that and not have to lose whatever, upload or content or whatever. So it's in review now, and we'll see what happens. But I just thought that was so kismet that you showed us that and that we already had a solution in our arsenal for that.
See, those of you guys that show up every single day, and again, it's not just me, it's everybody in the community and all the value that you get.
Mhm.
But even it's like, I know you've heard me say this 1,000 times, but it's even if you don't need it that day, it's so important to just stick a pin in it, just kind of stick it in the back of your mind, because there will be a time that comes up where you have that problem, or a client has that question, or you're trying to troubleshoot and just knowing the things that are possible. All of that is so, so important. But you
Truly
got
it was. God
it
could have
because
seen
you
me
show up
freaking out
every
now.
Yep. Yep. But you show up every day. That's why you guys that show up every single day, it's like you learn so, so much. And again, not just from me, but just from the conversations that we have and everybody in this community and all of your different, levels of experience and backgrounds and all of that. You just provide so much value. I couldn't even come close.
Yeah, I was saying earlier when you were talking with Tony about the whole new app that's releasing, I actually came across a stream where Ti son Damani was talking about he was freaking out on one of his streams because he thought that his assistant had actually secured the voice of Morgan Freeman. And he was like, what are you doing? He was like, no, turn that off. You're going to get me sued. He was like, turn that off or whatever. We need to, go about it the right way. But that is crazy the way that AI is actually taking over. And even if you look at what happened with just that simple statement on YouTube compared to a TikTok where you can say, do, stream, like you can do anything on TikTok. And so if you take that same scenario and apply it to YouTube, you could have a phone ringtone actually in the middle of your video. Your phone could ring and you'll end up with a strike because maybe you happen to have a ringtone on your phone. That's how strict YouTube is. So that's crazy looking at the span of how you can do anything to a very secured, confined platform like YouTube. So yeah, we're entering a very interesting time with AI versus us as business owners and what we're available to do within our own businesses.
Yeah, for sure. Andrea?
Hi, good afternoon, everybody.
Hello.
Yeah, I was talking about the video I was supposed to be having up. I did complete a video, but something happened last week with me, and it was just like I'm like facing some serious like imposter syndrome action going on, and it's just a whole lot of stuff that's happening between the naming of the brands. Like I created one name to kind of niche down, and then I have my original name. So that's one issue. Not being able to complete the 4-hour work week thing that you have. It's a whole bunch of stuff. So what ended up happening? Something happened. I went to an event and I put myself out there and I just messed up. But not too bad, but bad. I feel bad about it. Anyway, so that kind of like
You have to tell me, what do you think that you did that messed up?
Well, okay. So my daughter sings. So I was introducing my daughter on stage because it was a mother-daughter bond walk. So mothers and daughters, they were like modeling, but my daughter was singing and I introduced her. So anyway, the thing is like I had this whole acronym put together of how I felt about my daughter. So it was like I messed up on the E because it's like I spelled out daughter, but the E part, it was like I just completely, I don't know, fumbled and found another E word and it was just crazy. Although I practiced. Anyway, so of course they kind of had my whole, just all messed up. And I'm like, okay, I still got to do this video and I still had other little things I needed to do. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like starting to do these videos and I'm messing up. So I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go I have a thing called Big View. So I'm going to go into Big View and it has like the little teleprompter thing and all this stuff. It's kind of like Descript, but it was a free thing that I got from AppSumo way back when. So what I did was I used the transcript thing, put the words, instead of even saying it myself, I had it clone a video that I had before. So it took my voice, and the AI actually had my voice sound a little better than how I actually sound. I was like, this is nice. Anyway, so I used AI with my voice and put the words in and put the description, like the video in there. And yeah, it sounded good. So that's the video I do have, but it's not me on camera. It's not me talking. It's just not me. I just scheduled it for next week.
because you spent a lot of time shortchanging yourself and the growth that you were going to get with that first video. So here's what you should do.
Okay.
Tell me something that you could do blindfolded. No question. You've done this a million times. Let's say connecting a domain to your website, or creating a form, or anything, choosing a color palette. We could do that. Choose a color palette, go to colorhunt.co. That's my favorite place to choose a color palette, and find one that you like. Then when you find one that you like, create a video and just use Loom or something, or Zoom, or just don't even use anything fancy. Just use something you're super familiar with and just create a video and tell people how to do it. You don't have to worry about calls to action. Just only focus on the value and just record yourself. You don't even have to share your face. Just record yourself showing people how to do something, because that's really the most important thing. All the things that we think about, that's all in our heads that no one else cares about. No one cares if I decided to do my hair today, unless you've seen what it looks like and if I don't do it. But in reality, no one cares. I have gotten 22,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I almost never show my face. So just keep in mind that no one cares about all the things that you care about. Just think about the person who's just like you, who's struggling to, build their business or whatever, and they need to know how to choose a color palette. Okay. And I'm not saying just like you, like you're struggling with this. I'm just saying it helps us to think about people just like us. Okay. If you think about that person who's just like you, maybe last year, and they're trying to figure out, I don't even know, I can't even set up my whole system. I can't even set up my business or do anything because I can't even choose a color palette. Like, they're that person, and they're just feeling like, oh, I'll never be able to do this. And this is something simple, and it's keeping me blocked, and it's keeping me from moving forward. Think about that person, and they're waiting for you to create that video so that they can move forward. But instead of you creating the video, you're all up in yourself thinking, oh, I didn't say this right, or I need to spend 4 hours, creating a script, and it has to be like the world's best video, or I can't put it. It's like you are literally not helping someone because in your mind, you're selfishly getting wrapped up in your own feelings.
So, yeah. Yeah, it's
It's
true.
hard for us to think because we get very much inside of ourselves, and we think, oh, I sound stupid, or like I don't want to be on camera or whatever. But the truth of the matter is that people just want the value. I mean, that's really what we're doing here. We're not really, I mean, who cares about being an influencer and all of this stuff? I mean, maybe some people want to do that. But really, what we're doing is we're trying to help business owners, and we're trying to show them how we can help them. And we're trying to position ourselves as someone who knows what they're talking about. And so it doesn't really matter what it is that you're showing them. If you're showing how to, and that's a great title for a YouTube video, how to choose a color palette for your business. And if you have a niche, then choose that niche. How to choose a color palette for your plumbing business, how to choose a color palette for your event planning business, whatever it is, how to choose a color palette. So like every step of your business journey, you guys definitely document the process. Like, I know Martina loves when I talk about that. Document the process, but it's also like just simply sharing what you're learning. So if you create a color palette, if you settle on one, create a video and show how to create a color palette. The next step is purchasing a domain. When you purchase your domain, create a video and show how to purchase a domain. Just be honest. And this is what I love about education content over, trying to be like, look at me, I'm a multi-million dollar agency owner and I have all this experience. And who cares? Nobody cares. It's like all you need to do, you need to be the solution that person who's trying to figure out how to create a color palette. You want to be the video that they find. And then when you have more videos, they subscribe, they start feeling like they know you. And now you're building a relationship with a person that you've never even met. It's like magic the way that it happens.
Thank you.
So don't be selfish, Andrea. I know you're not selfish. I know you're not selfish. I just know that when I say this is how I talk to myself too. I know that when I say that to other people, because I say it to myself too, that we think so true. It's so true.
Mm.
I mean, think about let's say that there's a person who has a cure for cancer, okay? But maybe they're like insecure about their solution or whatever. Maybe they're like, "Oh, I have this cure for cancer, but I'm too nervous to like talk to people or whatever." And then what? They're just going to sit around and I got the cure for cancer, but I'm just going to sit here because I'm too scared to talk to people.
Yeah, that's pretty much my situation.
It's so normal
Like
though.
I'm a
We
wealth
all
of
feel
knowledge, but it's like just to get it out, it's just a whole thing. But I'm praying over that.
Yeah, even if you don't post it, just shoot it because one, you can shoot it and put it in your membership area. Even if you never post it, you're still building an onboarding course. Even if it's terrible, even if you have to go back, it doesn't matter. You're still building the onboarding course that you can then advertise for and say, struggling to create a color palette for your business? Check out this free training I did in my community. So it's like
Yes.
one video. Do you see how it's like you're afraid to create the one video, but that is the step that's keeping you from taking the next step? It's like I was saying, Tony. Tony's being led to take this course and he refuses to do it. But what if that's the step? You need to take the next step. Gotta keep walking.
That's true.
Mhm. And don't worry about messing up on stage. I just was talking about in February. I just said this the other day. In February, HighLevel asked me to speak on stage, and I misunderstood what they had asked me. I thought we were breaking up into groups. And I had, thought about what I was going to say and stuff, but it was loud when they asked. They didn't know that I was coming. They just saw that I was there and asked me to speak on stage, and which, I was fine to do, even though it terrifies me. But I didn't know that they wanted me to actually speak on stage. Like I said, I thought we were breaking up into groups and then I was going to teach something that I knew or whatever. And I had thought about that, but that wasn't the same thing I would talk about being on stage. And then so they came to get me and they're like, "Hey, Bridget, in the next 5 minutes, you're going to be the one who goes first." And da, 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 da. And that's all I heard because I was like, "What? Are you serious right now?" And then they're like, "Oh, you're good. You do this so
I
much."
was there and she
Yeah.
did excellent.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm
The
just
reps.
saying, it doesn't matter. Like you're gonna always experience these times where you are called outside of your own comfort zone to do things that are gonna help propel you in your business and your life. And if you don't do them, you're just gonna stay at the bottom step. You're not climbing the staircase. You're just saying, "No, I'm too afraid. I don't want to take the first step." Well, okay, then stay where you are. Because that's the option.
I know. And I'm called to do certain things that requires me to speak, and it's just like,
But look what
no.
happened. I mean, so what? You just misspoke. When I got on stage, the first thing I said is, "Oh my gosh, I'm terrified right now." I literally stopped in the middle of what I was saying and I was like, "My legs are literally shaking right now." Because one of the first things I said is, "I have 22,000 subscribers on YouTube, but I'm not used to you guys like staring back at me." Like I was completely intimidated, but I just told people that's how I felt. I was intimidated.
Imagine. I
But
felt freaking out too.
yeah, but I told them, I said, "I am terrified to speak on stage in front of you guys, but when HighLevel asks you to speak on stage, you say yes." Yeah, and
Yes.
that's really how it is. Like whether it's HighLevel or whether it's God, whatever it is, when something is calling you outside of your comfort zone, it's because you're supposed to go.
Oh my goodness.
And the
Yeah.
more uncomfortable you feel, the more important it is to do it.
Ooh, yeah. That's true.
Mhm. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I was just saying right before we went live here that I would, oh my gosh, it is 3:15. I am keeping you guys so long. We just I could talk about this all day. I did want to say that right before we went live today, I was talking about God was asking me to have like a prayer circle at the HighLevel Summit. And so I was really struggling with that because I don't typically pray in front of other people. And I think that's something he's calling me outside of myself to do. And so I just, before I got too much in my head, I asked someone else because I know if I got one more person involved in it, that I would have to do it. And so, and he just kept after me. So many people were like, so many things because I was like, God, just tell me, just make it clear so that I'll do it, but you gotta make it clear. But so many things happen. And so I told that first person, and then she's like, oh my gosh, yes, I would love to do that. And then it just kind of started snowballing. And I posted something on Facebook, and then everybody's excited to do it. And I just thought, what if I just said no, though? I mean, I don't know what's going to happen there. I don't even know if like anybody will show up. But I just think it's what I was supposed to do. And so that's what I'm doing. And then this person asked me, well, do you have like who's gonna like do you know who's gonna do the prayer or whatever? And I was like, no. But if God wants me to do it, I'm doing it. I'll come prepared and I'll do it. I'll be terrified. I'll be nervous. It's not like I've ever done it before. I've never held a prayer circle and prayed out loud, but I'm gonna do it because if that's what he wants me to do, that's what I'm doing.
Yes.
So
So it's super amazing.
so you guys didn't know we were having church today, but
It's necessary. It's necessary.
I'm so, so sorry. Let me very, very quickly, I don't want to hold you guys. I know that it's Friday, but I do want to definitely do our wheel here so that I can make sure that whoever wins our private consultation is probably going to be Andrea because
I hope.
I think you have like something shining on you because you keep winning. Okay, so let's say Andrea, and we have Andrew. And we have Tony and Frankie and Keith and Manolo and Maria and Paul and Timmy. All
And
right.
Martina.
Oh, thank you. How did I miss you? Oh, I think you were right under me. I think I just glossed right over that. Okay, so I'm going to say one more time just to make sure I didn't miss anyone. We have Andrea, Andrew, Tony, Frankie, Keith, Manolo, Maria, Paul, Timmy, and Martina. Did I miss anyone? Going once, twice. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and expand this. And here we go. Just so everyone knows, if you join us on Fridays, you do your name gets entered into the drawing to win a free private consultation with me. And this is separate from the YouTube. So let's go ahead and say, oh, Andrea.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my
You
God.
called it.
Andrea. Man, I think God has some big plans for you, Andrea.
Yes.
Look, you need to just go ahead and book a session. And if there's a session right after that available, you can book 2 if you have that. Because I know you have at least 3 now. But yeah, book that. Get out of your head, Andrea. Your calling is waiting for you.
Oh my goodness.
And I can't wait to see it. I can't wait until next year when you're like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe all the things that happened after I created that video.
Wow.
Sorry, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you so, so much for joining me today. And I will see you all on Monday. Go make your vision a reality. Have an awesome weekend. Bye.